What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Livin Big with Big Regg. Today, sports talk. Let's get into it. Now, there could be a trade on the horizon, at least something to think about. Could we see a division rival upgrade their defense? Let's talk about it. What are the chances the Cincinnati Bengals decide to trade a young star receiver for Jalen Ramsey of the Los Angeles Rams? That'll be a very interesting trade. Now let's talk about the Bengals. We know their defense is stacked. Um, Down on the D line, B.J. Hill, DJ Reader, um, and there's a couple stars on that defensive line. They can stop the run. They can rush the passer. They can create problems altogether. But the problem the Bengals have is they have a weak back end. Aside from Awuzie, there's really nobody on that backside of that defense that's going to set any fear in your name. Now, as far as the Rams go, it seems Jalen Ramsey is on his way out of the door over there. So what better landing spot for him than a defense that needs him and an opportunity to show that he's still one of the top corners in the league? Now you may ask, what could you possibly trade to get a guy like Jalen Ramsey? Well, what do the Bengals have an abundance of? What could they possibly get rid of to get a guy like Jalen Ramsey? Any takers? You got it. They go wide receiver here. And you see a guy like T. Higgins get traded to the Rams. Perfect fit, right? Because the Rams receivers are who? Cooper Kupp, who's constantly hurt now. Well, not constantly. That's a lie. He got hurt one time. But he can't keep doing this by himself on that team. No OBJ there. Robert Woods is Robert Woods. Let's just leave it at that. So, what are the chances they want a young star who has an expiring contract that they can negotiate a deal with? The Rams are never against spending money, right? The cap is cap. But they are tired of their all pro top cornerback who's getting burnt left and right anyway. Now, with Ramsey possibly being on the way out the door anyway, what better situation than to make a deal for a young receiver who can go up there, get the ball, beat contested coverage, and be a consistent problem? It's perfect for what they need. They got their quarterback already with Matt Stafford. So why not become more of a contender by adding a T. Higgins? And for the Bengals, you're in a division where every other team in the division has added to their offense and become extremely stacked. So now with that being the case, and you're not being just the best offense in your division, what do you have to do? You have to add defense to try and slow down the other offenses in your division. Bengals are a very good team. Don't get me wrong. Their offense is top amongst the league. One of the best, right? We can't argue that. They've shown it again and again and again. And they continue to stack up points on top of points on top of points. But it doesn't take just points to win in this league. You have to have the ability to stop an offense when it matters. You have to have the ability to slow them down in certain cases of the game. Now, what do you do to stop a deep ball despite the fact that you have a good defensive line? When you come up against a good offensive line, if not better offensive line, what's going to happen? You're going to see that your D line can't create the havoc that they need to for your back end to stick in coverage. Well, guess what? That equals guys running free, especially when you got teams now are 3, 4 receivers deep with talent, including Baltimore. Now, what are you going to do? You got no choice but to go get somebody on the back end, a star name that can lock down one side of the field. And albeit Jalen Ramsey has struggled over the last couple seasons, he still has pretty good numbers. He still has top of the league numbers. He can still take a guy away, no matter how you cut it. If you're not a top tier wide receiver, then Jalen Ramsey is going to have no problem covering you. So imagine him on the same team as an offensive player like Jamar Chase. You don't got to cover him now. You cover him in practice. And guess what that's going to do? Iron sharpens iron, man. He's going to get in practice. He's going to be going against one of the best receivers in football. And one of the best receivers in football is going to be going against one of the best corners of football. And when that happens, you create this monstrosity where these two are just battling and they're getting better and better and better. Okay, this is what guys do in this situation. Okay, that's what guys do. Okay. You're learning how to get out in and out of cuts, how to defend certain cuts. The Bengals can be very sneaky here. Make this trade happen. Become a divisive football team. Don't underestimate their ability to add talent. They're not afraid to do it. The Rams aren't afraid to make big trades, and the Rams aren't afraid of paying anybody. So for both teams, this will be a bonus. Let's talk about those Rams, right? They're struggling. The NFC's weak. What better time to strike than now, right? You don't have too many contenders in that conference. So you go out, you get a guy like T. Higgins, and all of a sudden, you got an explosive offense, and only one team in the conference has a good defense. Well, two. We can't forget about San Fran. So why not become playoff contenders right away? You trade, get a guy like T. Higgins, get him with Cooper Kupp. Got Matt Stafford. That sparks flying right there. That's an offensive problem. Of course, teams are going to put up points on you because you're losing an all-pro corner, but you're in rebuild anyway. But why not start your rebuild with a playoff contending team, right? What better way to be? What better position to be in? The conference is weak. You can rebuild and still be a contender at the same time. No disrespect, but look at the Carolina Panthers, right? They did it. They rebuilt and stayed a playoff contender. That's a great GM over there. He knows what he's doing. It's a good owner. They know how to make moves. The Rams know how to make moves. These teams have the perfect opportunity to take advantage of a trade that nobody would be expecting that will help both teams. So what's holding them back from doing it? Today, we realize that there could be 2 new contenders for a Super Bowl run, or at least playoff run, with one trade. You tell me what you think. Is this a trade they should do? Is this something they should look at? There's all possibilities. Who would you trade to get Jalen Ramsey if you were the Bengals? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. As always, stay blessed. Come back for more. Peace.